Om Shri Ganeshaya Namo Nama. Greetings to everyone world over, all our brothers and sisters across the globe, Indian diaspora, non-resident Indian, and all others those are joining us. Do we recall Honorable Prime Minister of India sometime back made an appeal and a call when he was addressing a galaxy of our brothers and sisters abroad, and he told them each one of you should bring at least 5 people with you to visit India. And imagine our inbound tourism, international tourism to India will do multiplier effects in all respect, because people will see India's culture, they will enjoy India's cultural heritage, our art, craft, culture, cuisine, dances, music, souvenirs, and people are just wonderful. India is an amazing country with so much of offer in one time, in one plate, and anybody can come to India. So hearty welcome to India. I'll share in a little while with you what all India is having in the store. So welcome on Sunday morning, afternoon, and evening. The budget has gone totally green. Quite a bit of money has been given for the green energy and the clean energy. So it's a green morning, and it's a green afternoon, and it's a green evening. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to have a little bit deep into the budget 2023. What could be the contribution of our brothers and sisters, non-resident Indians, as they have been supporting and they're bringing proud to India in the FDI as well. Now, at the same time, when we talk about budget, we are focusing on youth, and that's why you will be meeting one of the youth today, Madam Miss Angel. She's at the University of Toronto. She would be joining us. Besides that, we have got 2 other dignitaries. We have got Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan, our advisor in the United States from the Lamar University, Texas. He's also with us right over here, who would be talking about education, skills, youth, and related areas. We have got another expert from Canada, Mr. Vikas Malhotra, who is a tourism strategist, and he will talk about how India should take advantage with regard to tourism. 2023 has been declared India Tourism Year. And when it has been declared, how to take advantage, G20 is also there. And people, those are interested to become vocational teacher, how do you prepare yourself? How do you equip yourself? So let's travel together on wonderful Sunday. And we are going to share with each other, that is ICSI being a link between India and our brothers and sisters, non-resident Indian across the globe, along with the corporate sector, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. Budget 2023, we are going to discuss the highlights. Yesterday was a wonderful program I wish to share. Here is a young boy, handsome boy, dynamic boy, dedicated boy, who is from Manipur, that is from the northeast part of India. He has traveled on bicycle. Here you can see motorbike, but on the bicycle, where he had to paddle, physically move, he has traveled in India 17,500 kilometers. And now he's on a journey where he's telling, Dekho Apna Desh, domestic tourism. So Film Rohan Singh, yesterday he had come. Those who have missed it yesterday, you can watch it, you can see it yourself, and you can enjoy what exactly he discussed about sustainable tourism, climate change, and what all India can do and India should do in the coming times. And now he wants to go throughout India on electric bike tour when we are getting towards clean energy in the new budget, with so much of funds being allocated and dedicated. Now, sometime back, we also discussed with you in detail that as far as domestic tourism is concerned, why it should be a separate subject, why it should not be a part of our curriculum through the NCERT, in our books, in our academics, because tourism, when we are talking about domestic, it's your art also, craft also, history also, culture also, geography also, anything you want to talk about, all that is a part of. And at the same time, people those are going to teach tourism, why not? They should also get in their B.Ed education before they become vocational teachers, where they can take care of everything related to when we talk about B.Ed teachers for education. Now, tourism multiplier effects of the Indian economy. As this program is going on YouTube, you can see it later, how the e-tourism is changing the way to travel. That is also very important. Our focus is going to be on the vocational studies as well, because world over, why not we should club with each other when the technology is playing such an important role. And when we talk about skills with the formal academics, can you imagine in United States, 52% they get towards the vocationals, Germany is 75%, and South Korea, skills are given importance. Almost 96% children, students, youth, they take. Now, these are some of the digital skills which are required in future as far as travel, tourism, and service industry is concerned. Here is the list you should enjoy. The skills which you require to become tourism vocational teacher. I'm not going to get into the details. You can read at your own later on, but just to share with you, these are some of the tourism legends of India. I requested them that let the tourism be outdoor. Let's have the practical session coming from the travel trade, and together the outdoor practical training for our vocational teachers. Those are doing B.Ed. So north, south, east, west, central India, wonderful India. Our chamber has also come out with Rethinking Tourism Post-Pandemic book, which we launched on 5th of October. You can enjoy. It's a research and compilation work. And when we are talking about it, it's useful to vocational teachers, schools, colleges, universities, ITIs, skill centers, and even the capacity building programs. It has got 15 chapters, and we are going right up to 2047, when India will be celebrating 100 years of its independence, how India would look like. At the same time, the FEAST, Forum of Educators and Skill Providers of Tourism, we have given them the free membership, and 1,035 colleges, universities, and institutions, those are teaching tourism in India, we have requested them to come together. I was just talking to my friend, Alistair Morrison, who used to be with the University of Purdue earlier, and now in UK. And we were talking, he's known as father of tourism marketing. He has spent almost 45 to 50 years he has given in his life. So I was just chatting with him yesterday. Now over here, this is the homepage for our web portal. Whenever you get time, go to icsiindia.in. You'll get so many treasures, and we extend a very warm welcome to our new patron also, who has taken over at the annual convention of ICSI on 14th of January 2023, Padma Bhushan Professor Jagdish N. Shade from United States. And our new president, who is based out of Singapore, Mr. Anil Malhotra. We extend a very warm welcome, and we are privileged to have both of them along with others. So smart tourism is the future. We got to go green, we got to talk green, we got to think green, we got to move green, and we got to preserve the nature. And here are the young boys and girls. They are today and they are tomorrow. They are the ones those are going to shape. Dekho Apna Desh, that is the vision which Honorable Prime Minister gave, and he told everybody that why don't you travel to 15 locations within India itself, go and enjoy yourself, and Ministry of Tourism, Government of India will foot the bill for entire thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I just checked up, more than 2 lakh people have availed this facility during the pandemic, and their entire budget, their entire finances, they were given by the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Some more competitions are coming up. I'll share in the subsequent program. Here is the Honorable Union Minister for Tourism, for Culture, and for the Northeast part of India. On 31st of January, 2023, he declared the logo and the web portal and everything, Visit India Year 2023. Heartiest congratulations and welcome. Now let me move from Vikas Malhotra ji to Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji. What are the highlights in the budget as far as education sector is concerned? Now, the new education policy, we all know it was given in 2020. So the continuation of that policy, implementation of that policy, and the gross enrollment ratio also, when you take into consideration, the budget allocation has increased for the school education as well as higher education. And the National Digital Library has been announced, millions of books in one app. Download this app on your mobile phone and you can enjoy, you can take out any book from the treasure that is the National Digital Library. At the same time, in the new budget, there's an emphasis on the National Book Trust and the Children Book Trust. Do you recall? एक समय होता था, नाना नानी की कहानियां, दादा दादी की कहानियां, चंदा मामा, चंपक, and Malgudi days, R.K. Lakshman, all those things were there. So government is giving a great boost because it would ultimately help us to realize our cultural heritage. At the same time, right from 2014 onwards, the Honorable Prime Minister vision in the budgets, they have been announcing right from 2014 till date, there are 157 medical colleges which has been set up in India. Now in this budget, government has decided in these 157 medical colleges, they are also going to have nursing college because world over, we need nurses, we need caretakers. So young boys and girls, those are interested to get into health and wellness sector, that is something amazing which is coming up. 38,000 plus jobs are coming up in Eklavya model residential schools. These are basically to help the tribal children in the far-flung areas. Teachers training, capacity building program, District Institute of Educational Training. They're going to give the new oxygen and the new vibration to this particular setup in a digital way. 100 labs are going to be set up in India for developing the 5G apps. So young boys and girls, you all are very dynamic. Come on, start working on to it because whatever you will be developing, we will utilize that in our smart classrooms. We will utilize them in our agriculture, intelligent transportation systems, and a couple of other areas related to health, wellness, and security. 3 centers of excellence for artificial intelligence are coming up, which has been announced in this particular budget. That's a big fillip. How artificial intelligence will be part of the education ecosystem in future. We're going to accelerate the digital India push. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0, because up to 3.0 it was done earlier. Now they have announced formally that the same free training, free certificate, paid stipend, all that will be given to children. Government of India, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship through the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, along with the National Skill Development Corporation Skill India program, moving to National Apprenticeship program. You know, when you talk about this particular scheme, almost it would be extended to 47 lakh youth in the next 3 years in India. Empowering youth, strengthening industries, and building nation, beautiful India. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we always talk about demographic dividend. What is the advantage? Can you see these young boys and girls? You go to the airport, you go to the railway station, you go to the bus terminal, you travel in any mall. In India, you will find young boys and girls, vibrant, energetic. If they get skilled, they can serve the entire universe the best possible way. So demographic dividend, it will come to advantage only when we will skill them, we will polish them, we will give them the desired competencies, and they move world over. Our youth, they are our assets. We got to look after them. We got to skill them. We got to give them the competencies, and we got to give them the best of the ability, experience, knowledge, and of course, the advanced training as well. Digital literacy is going to play a very important role, which we have to. And finally, our teachers, our trainers, our counselors, our mentors, our coach, and our youth. They got to go world over. It's a Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. If we all want to live peacefully, it's very important. Then the gender diversity, when you talk about, we got to have the women empowerment program in our country, which is coming up in a very, very big way. With these words, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together. Let's come together for India's tourism, education, and skills through innovative, futuristic thought processes and collaborations, not competitions anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, we started on 25th of March 2020 when there was a complete lockdown, and till date, we have not taken the break even for a day, and we are having 1,807 webinars being conducted. It's your YouTube channel, ICSI India, International Chamber for Service Industry. Subscribe it, like it, press the bell icon, and put your comments also in the chat box, because people always feel shy. I've seen once the program gets over, thereafter they come forward and they view it. I think it's the right time, right when the program is going on, put your thoughts, put your ideas. Ideas will shape into reality only when you share your vision. And you know, one of my mentors, I always remember, Les Brown, whenever I attended his training programs in America during my visit, he says, when you open your mouth, you tell the whole world who you are. So your communication skills, your personality, your digital skills, your creative thinking, your collaborative thinking, your future thinking, all that is going to get shaped with the youth, with the education, with the skills, and of course, tourism can play a very important and a pivotal role. Join me in extending a very warm welcome today to three dignitaries. And let me start with the youth. We have got Angel. She is at the University of Toronto in Canada. We have got Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji. He is from the Lamar University from the United States. And we have got, because tourism always says, Atiti Devo Bhava. So that's why Vikas says, I extend a very warm welcome to both of them on this particular program. So Mr. Vikas Malhotra, the tourism strategist from Canada. So with these words, ladies and gentlemen, I would request Professor Vivek Shankar to have his prayers and thereafter get into the motion. Invite Vikas Malhotra. Let's get the flavor of education, skills, and tourism together. And thereafter, finally, we will have today's judge of the program, Miss Angel. Let the youth decide how she would like to shape the world, how she would like to shape India with the efforts of all of us together. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, hearty welcome to each one of you, and let's take on the journey. Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji.
Namaste. Vagartavyo samprapto vagartas pratipattiye jagatas pitaro vande parvati parameshwaro. Gulshan ji, thank you. It's been a while since I've come back, and but it's good to see all of you. Good to see Angel, and then good to see Vikas. So I'll be brief. You know my model. I try to be, if I can't, I have to work hard. If I have to speak for 2 minutes, so I'd like to get things done in 2 to 3 minutes, and then I leave the space to the youngsters, and I'll let them to make more remarks. But what is compelling is the fact that the budgetary allocation for higher education is of a very high order. It has gone up substantively, some close to 8,000 or some 9,000 crores. We are talking a lot of money here. So that tells you the intent of the government, especially after the pandemic is kind of getting back over, is to put higher education on a higher pedestal, which is good for all of us, because you're investing in the skills, you're investing in the demographic dividends, because dividend will happen only if you invest. And so if you think the demographic dividend is here, you got to invest in them. And so education is the right way to go. So I see all the right measures there, the tone, it's all very suggestive, it's all in the right direction. What was very interesting was the emphasis on creating a digital book trust, which is good because India has one of the highest rates of digital penetration and digital activity. And if the students can be moved or kind of persuaded to move away from just doing PUBG or one of those games to reading, And that's why the book trust, whatever they are doing, creating a digital infrastructure for housing so many books, I think it's a step in the right direction. And ultimately, we also need some kind of AI apps which will guide people to read certain books. Hey, you started with level 1, level 2, level 3. So I think all that will come eventually, and we need to persuade more book reading, more competitions around books, and even more book writing. So all that is needed, and I think all this will be, all the efforts are in the right direction. Similarly, I was very impressed to look at the interest in AI, because we all know, we have been talking about for a long time that AI is the future. In fact, a couple of weeks back, even I think around December, we were all seeing YouTube videos where the Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, he uses ChatGPT and does a lot of AI kind of demonstrations. And now the worry is, hey, will AI eat up jobs? And I think we have a youngster here, they're going to be worried. But the argument is AI can only do what humans have done. I was actually listening to this from another show. But they say, if you have done something, AI can replicate it. But what some human has not done, only another human can do. In other words, to go for a more creative enterprise, to go for something that has not been done. If once you go to the moon, maybe AI can replicate how to get to the moon better. You can optimize. But to create that process, that initial creativity process, only humans can do. Similarly, our service endeavors, which are all high person endeavors, AI and all can be a tool. But remember, it cannot replace a person. It can only help the person to become more effective, more efficient. And in that sense, I think that is the way we see, as things become more effective and there is more efficiency, there is more productivity gains, what the costs that were being incurred for wasteful activities can be now diverted to more productive enterprises. That way, new jobs are created. So we got to see that in that context, that there will be the short-term job losses, but that's where you have to go back for training and reskilling and all that. So to me, that's the way you view AI as an enabler of future jobs, as a way of creating newer options, newer avenues in the future. So even for digital or even for tourism, I'm sure you can do a lot of AI. If you have done, let's say, you look at your old photographs from your parents, and if AI can say, hey, your parents went there, why don't you go now? So you can do all that suggestive thing. So AI so it's a tool. Any tool can be useful if you have the brains to use the tool. So I think we have to work on creating that brains, that critical thinking. And that's where higher education or education in general becomes very, very critical in this age of AI. Some of the routine tasks, memory tasks can be outsourced. So you have to go beyond and create a stronger individual who can think of creative solutions. So that way, the emphasis on AI is something that is very well, we have to welcome that. Apart from that, the budget has been analyzed by several experts. So I'm not getting into too much of the details, because honestly, the fiscal policy and all, I think people with much more expertise who have grown realities will be doing better. But I was offering you a bird's eye view of somebody sitting away in a far off land and looking at the budget. And to me, all these intent is very, very, very in the right direction. So Gulshan, that is what it is. And to me, I think particularly, we have a specific task. Our task is to work as the engine of enabling innovation and enabling skills training in the area of services. And I think in that sense, there is good, we have good support. Our patron, Dr. Sheth, has really enunciated a vision for us to follow. And our job will be to kind of take that forward and use the tailwinds that the budget generates to go with that, to use that to go in the right direction. I'm sure there are other developments. There have been, a lot of, emphasis on agriculture, tourism. Again, these are all going to be the important sectors that will contribute to the GDP growth once all this pandemic effect has been wearing off. So I think Vikas ji will probably talk more about tourism. And I want to know what the youngsters feel. So without much ado, I'm going to stop and let Vikas ji and Angel, they make remarks, and I'll make some concluding remarks at the end.
Thank you.
Gulshan ji.
Very kind of you, Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji. Now, from here, let's take the pattern forward, Vikas ji. Something very important, 3-4 things. Number one, during the pandemic, it was a master stroke by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, telling everybody that travel within India if you are not able to go abroad, it's okay, no worries. But during the pandemic, let's travel within India. And also, he made sure that if you put, your money in travel, that money is to be reimbursed by the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. For your travel also, your boarding, lodging also, and all expenses have been met by the ministry. Imagine. Now, they are taking that vision forward, and it is yet to be announced. The budget has come that in Dekho Apna Desh, what exactly are they carrying forward? Secondly, G20 presidency, which has come to India. Once again, we got to take advantage of that. People who will come throughout the year from abroad, if we showcase our country the best possible way, our cultural heritage, our spirituality, our yoga, our meditation, our cuisine, our dances, our costumes, our heritage and souvenirs and whatever we can talk about. So that is second part, G20. And the third part which comes to my mind is they have done once again wonderful that they have declared year 2023 Visit India Tourism Year. That means they're inviting people from outside, come to India. So now let's hear your views. How do we take this journey forward?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for having me here. And I would request if you can give me 4 or 5 minutes. I'm really passionate about this subject. This is something not next to my heart, within my heart, and I live my life based on this. They always say, do what you love to do. Take a profession, what you love to do, not that you've got a sword on your head that you're supposed to do this, and now you do this. You will never, never exceed. So this is one area which I really want to talk. Firstly, my reaction to 8,000 plus crores increase is like, what? That was my first reaction. And that's beautiful. That's really the step one. I feel the government of India has done their part. Now it is a part of all of us together, we being NRIs outside India and all of our associates within India should come together and take a step which will help not only the government of India, it will help everybody within India as well. India is such a beautiful place. I've always shared on this platform that once there was the Assamese waterfalls, and I really thought it was South Africa. Gulshan sir will be able to recall that. And that was amazing. And there was a quiz. I was like, are we sure this is India? Yes.
That was Northeast India.
Yes. And it is our India. That was a big, broad smile on the face. I really like the concept of the digital book. And I think where the vision is going for the government of India and the ministry is the next would be, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's already launched, is the audiobook. People driving down 2 hours on the road, on the highway, going to work, they're just listening to the beautiful things about the travel sector within India. And that is actually going to motivate. I also want to touch down on the G20 subject here as well. So if we notice, the government of India has an intentions of increasing the tourism within India. That is why they are making these efforts. That is why they are putting a budget to it. That is why they put it on a priority list. It is not as one of the subset. It is the major set to be focused upon, because that is the one is going to give a multiplier effect. And we're not dealing with sorrows in life. Tourism brings a smile on everybody's face. I don't even know one single human being who said, oh, I don't like to go to another place. I really do. I still have to find that human being. We all human beings are modulated. Our brain works in a way, whatever is the pleasures of life, beautiful landscapes, beautiful sceneries, and not to forget beautiful people. Indians by heart are the warmest human beings. I'm not being biased because that's my background, but that is one thing over there. I'm very, very happy that 2023 is the Visit India Tourism Year. And I would like to add a message from my belief, which is very strong. And we are talking about the subject about skills, the development of skills in this sector. So for a second, skills is, please see the skills is SKILLS, SK. Let's just differentiate S as separate and keep the other word kills. I would replace the word S with superstition. I would like to tell everybody in this sector, superstition kills you. So please do not have preconceived ideas. Oh, I'm going to do this job on Tuesday because it is a Shubh Mangal, this and that. Please do not think. Today is your day to take step one. The moment you take step one, step two will follow, 3, 4, 5, 6. And guess what? You are going to inspire everybody around you.
Wow.
So I believe in action. We've talked, the government of India has done their action. The government has done all the inspirational things that they could do. The finance is there. And the government, if you really notice, our honorable PMG, Modi ji, whenever the PM or the president from other countries come, they just don't sit in the capital. They go to another place. Sometime in Agra, sometime here, sometime there. They want to spread the word tourism. One more thing. There's a very sensitive subject which I want to touch is mental health. Professor Vivek Shankar ji will agree with me as well. And Angel being here now, in North America, there's a huge stress on mental health. Tourism is one of the best medicines for mental health. Tourism is not just about a flight. Tourism is just not about landscape. Tourism is the interaction with strangers, culture exchange, and lots of stuff which brings your heart out happy. I've done a lot of motivational talk over here, but there is one last thing I want to say. There are 3 or 4 taglines in my life which I follow very, very strongly. And one of them is very best suitable here because government of India is proving it to be like that. They say successful human beings do not do different things. They do the same things differently. So the tourism in India was always there. Always it was there. The beautiful landscapes and waterfall, people, the cultural, the exchange vibes were always there. But the government is now doing the same thing, but differently. They are focusing on it. So they are doing their part. I think collectively we all should come on a common platform and salute our beautiful land. And that includes domestic, Dekho Apna Desh, and that also includes the international visitors as well. So this is what I really feel about this sector, especially in focus on the domestic side of India as well. I can vouch one day in my closing statement that if a small place like Dubai, small place like Singapore can attract millions of visitors all over the world, the government definitely had a helping hand to make that happen. And our government is working towards that as well right now.
Great. What a
I'll give the
valuable
platform
input.
back. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'll give
you.
the platform back to you.
I'll have you for the second round. Something very interesting which you have given me. I'm going to use it and I won't tell the people that I've got it from Vikas. That is
Sure.
your skills, what you have told me. And kills. Superstition kills everything. Wow, that's
Yes.
great. Ladies and gentlemen, mental health is another very important area because during the pandemic, physical challenges, mental challenges, pressures, anxieties, stress and depression, so much has happened. And I think we are coming out of it. And when he says tourism is the best medicine for mental health, yes, I totally strongly support it. Something very interesting before we go to Angel and we take her views. I would like to share with the global audience that in India, the Honorable Prime Minister has launched longest cruise of world. Longest cruise of the world. It started on 13th of January from Varanasi after 51 days tour. While traveling via India and Bangladesh, it will reach Dibrugarh, that is in Assam, and people are going to have an amazing trip. You can well imagine, 13th of January launched, 51 days you add, and you can see it's a 3-tier system they have got. When you look at the pictures, you'll be proud of India. I intentionally didn't show you today because I want something you should browse at your own as well. See, longest cruise of the world, 3,100 kilometers. is started on 13th of January from Varanasi, and it's going all the way to Dibrugarh in Assam via Bangladesh. Now, let me just come to, after all, what are we talking? We're talking about education, we're talking about skills, we're talking about tourism. For whom it is for the younger generation. They are the one, because they matter today, they matter tomorrow. They are the one, those are going to bring change for all of us in the times to come. They're very young, they're very vibrant, they're very energetic. And today, fortunately, we have got one of the Indian girl who is at present in the University of Toronto in Canada, and Angel. She is going to discuss with us. She is going to tell us, first of all, Angel, you tell, how did you get this scholarship? How did you reach over there? And how did you make your arrangements to go over there? We want to take your journey. That is also tourism. Let's listen to Angel.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me. My name is Angel Rajotia. I'm a second-year industrial engineering student at the University of Toronto. I traveled to Canada about 1.5 years ago. And I think this has been a life-changing experience for me. From being someone who never stepped out of India to traveling to Canada on my own and getting through all the application process and securing the Lester B. Pearson scholarship was something that made me believe more in myself. So I become more resilient. And just by traveling, just by taking a 17-hour flight with 2 layovers, that made me understand that I can go wherever I want to. Like, I'm confident enough to travel wherever I want to. I can be a solo female traveler. And, you know, we don't get to see a lot of those these days, but the number is increasing as, you know, more countries take action to make their areas more safe for women. I think coming to Canada has opened up a new world to me, because U of T, University of Toronto, represents 170 countries. My reasoning behind deciding to study abroad was to just live amongst people from all over the world and learn from them, because I feel that there's so much that they have to offer. I can have a conversation with someone who lives in a very different way, has very different cultural background, has very different views on almost everything, and still have a very peaceful and understanding conversation with them, which adds to my perspectives. And I would also like to touch the topic of mental health. I think, as you said, mental health is greatly stressed upon here in North America. I can see that because there's so many resources provided to us. At every step, we are encouraged to ask for help, which is something that is, you know, frowned upon by some people, or some people are shy to ask for help. They might feel that they're not strong enough, or they can't handle situations themselves. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We make mistakes, we learn, and there are other people who are out there to help.
Great. What exactly are you studying over there?
I'm studying industrial engineering.
Okay.
So this course includes a lot of process optimization, operations research, information engineering, and human factors design. So it's just a mixture of everything that I wanted to study.
Great.
It's really interesting. And because
Wonderful.
it's an engineering degree, one thing that stood out to me is that over here, practical knowledge is given a lot of importance. I think as much as the theoretical part towards studies is in light, a lot of time is given to actually carrying out the theoretical knowledge that you're gaining, just carrying those out in terms of projects or, you know, your own initiatives. And team building exercises are also greatly valued.
Great, wonderful. We wish you all the best for your remaining period, what you've got over there. You're bringing proud and you've gone on the scholarship and you traveled at your own. So ladies and gentlemen, that is women empowerment. And that is something our youth, our future, our young boys and girls, they're doing. And we are really proud of you. We are really proud of you. Such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji, साक्षात रूप में आ जाइए.
Yes, sir. मैं यहीं पे हूँ, sir.
Yes, मुझे आपसे दो तीन चीजें बड़ी important which when we talk about education. Now, the new education policy 2020, which was announced on 29th of July 2020, the total implementation has to take place till 2030. That means it's being implemented in different phases. B.Ed education, because I personally feel young boys and girls as the students are very smart. The teachers, their capacity building program, their self-learning pace, at the same time, they are becoming the co-learners. That's the definition given by one of the Australian professor in the education. In the digital era, there are two things. One is India is going to get and is in the process. UGC is working very hard on that. India setting up digital university in the hub and spoke model. If you recollect, we have done the program earlier on that. Secondly, the gates are being opened by the UGC now for the foreign institutions, foreign universities and setups to come to India. Initially, they will be given the license for 10 years and thereafter it will be renewed and they can further move on. Now, my concern over here is education is becoming very costly world over. Everybody cannot reach United States or Canada, Australia, for that matter, UK. It's very difficult. Everybody cannot be that bright and intelligent to score such a good marks in the IELTS and scholarship programs and other things. Now, how do we work out the strategy? Students getting quality education, because India's concern is quantity also and quality also. So we got to handle quantity also, we got to handle quality also, and we have to adopt technology also. We have to make education affordable also. In a federal structure, it is very difficult because education is center as well as state responsibility, because ultimately implementation comes from the state. When I think about Navodaya Vidyalaya, when I think about Kendriya Vidyalaya, when I think about central school, when I think about my army school and army public schools, it's altogether different zoner. When I talk about missionaries like a Carmel Convent School, St. John and others, it's altogether different because my daughter also studied there and I can understand it what it is. Now the children, those are in states, in the government schools, how do they get hand holding? And the digital technology reaches the last mile to the last student, because when you see the advertisement on the television, the girl sitting on the border in the remote village also has the same emotion and expectation from the society vis-a-vis the person who is in the urban metro city. How do we go by?
Dr. It's a complicated problem, as we call what we call as wicked problem, so in operations and system sciences. So I think the government has spelled out very clearly the intention should be, and I agree with you. This is in what we call as concurrent list. State and center both have responsibility. So it's not like defense where the government can arbitrate. The central government can take all the decisions. It has to. And as you know, state governments by nature, if they're from another party, there's going to be a certain conflict, but conflict itself is not really bad. I mean, as long as it leads to better outcomes for the citizens. Now, one good thing is, I look at a silver lining in India is everybody, whether he is, a PhD kind of a guy or even somebody who's not the most smartest, they all have access to phones and they all have to have access to digital. So this digital is a tool that would definitely help in terms of cutting the cost down, because that is the advantage. I mean, I come from a university that is heavily in the online space. And the biggest advantage was you were able to take it to a population that could not have come to a campus. So reach or access is one issue, but it also do it at a fraction of the cost, because once you have created the teaching materials, it is a fixed cost, and then the more you spread it out, the cost of delivery becomes very low. And so it works in certain cases. No, but again, this assumes that the student is driven. If the student is not very driven, then we have the digital, or if you have their digital challenges, the internet is not very forthcoming, then there are challenges. So we have to kind of create that process where students can, you can have various segmentation schemes. If somebody was able to do 100% online, just allow them to do. But there is all this infrastructure that we have in the form of village schools and in the form of colleges, where you could have some kind of, tutors or, help people who could help. And this is where I think the army of, we don't have a population problem. We have very young people, and we also have a lot of folks who are in the retired. They could be repurposed to become coaches. That could, this is like, I kind of take the example. Somebody goes to the gym. If you're confident and if you know exactly what to do, you can just do your own routine. Otherwise, you have the trainers. You need to have that personal training model that can be tied to a digital university. And then what happens is people who have problems can kind of come up. Because, to me, I think India already leapfrogged the problem. Wherever there was a problem in terms of schools, what did we do? We created the cottage industry called as the coaching industry, the tuition industry. I think that can be repurposed in the digital sense also, where you can have digital coaches who are even accredited, who can help people, if they cannot do it on their own, they can pay them and they can do it. And that way, what happens is you can mitigate some of this rather than going through a very bloated cost. But having said that, I don't think so. The Indian universities are very bloated to begin with. Higher education costs in a relative sense in India also is expensive. But if I look at other countries, I think India is still a very affordable country. Not for somebody who has US dollars in income. That's not what I'm saying. Even within India, it is still not that bad. I mean, the universities are still competitive. Of course, when you go into the IITs or the IIMs, they tend to be more expensive, but that's because they're also branded in a premium sense. And okay, but again, now even the IITs, they are creating digital programs. So that allows you to access a program from a quality institution at a fraction of the cost. So I think this model will have to evolve to create more cost-effective programs. I think that is access and affordability will have to be improved, will have to become issues. And I think, by the way, I was also impressed by the allocation for single teacher schools that was also promised. I think the model that I've seen in the past, this is an organization, some of my friends here in Houston and all, they're funded. It's called the Ekal Vidyalaya, single teacher schools. That's a wonderful concept. To be honest, until a certain grade, one teacher can pretty much teach quite a bit of the wide spectrum of subjects. And this only creates opportunities for
the amount of institutions we have got in India, the quantity or the amount of teachers we have got, the capacity building program and all that. I think digital highways is one of the most important ingredient if we want to make education affordable, accessible, and reaching the large population.
And actually, the digital people think, I put my material online, you go and take it. It's not like all you can eat buffet. You still need an eating plan. Khana to de diya. Kya khana hai, kab khana hai, kaise khana hai. That is somewhere the teacher is still needed. So rather than making the food, now you're becoming a curator. You're curating the experience. You're no longer cooking the food. The food can be put online. But how do you study? The next level. What to study? Where do you study? Critical thinking. These kind of things can be done. And that's how teachers can be repurposed. Repurposed, as in, they're already purposed there. I shouldn't even use the word repurpose. I think they're already there, but we can say the emphasis now is rather than you go and do a lecture. And lecture, it is said, is supposed to be a very interesting process. The information flows from the notes of the professor to the notes of the student without passing through the minds of either. So, mindfulness nahi hai. So I think now with online, what happens is, hey, no, that process is gone. You put it, my lecture notes are available, PDF, everything is there. Now let us work on that. I mean, I've given you the fruit. Let us take the juice in my class.
Sakshi from Uttarakhand is writing for you. For Professor Natarajan, skilling program will be reoriented and the ITIs will start courses on skilling. The digital Desh e-portal will be launched for skilling, upskilling and reskilling. Julie ma'am from Manipur is writing for you. Exactly. We can utilize the expertise of the retired personnel. Retirement is just a phase. Their experience is our asset. So that is also
Sir,
something.
This is, actually, UGC already has thought about it, sir. In fact, I would not even say some of our ideas are original. Already people, the brain stress in the policy making in India is a very high order. I don't have any illusions that people from NRIs are only going to give you good ideas. Actually, very smart people are working in our government and they've already thought through it. They call it professor of practice. The UGC has already addressed this. I think this is a very good thing. We are talking about solutions. I thought I will talk about it. There in the UGC scheme or the overall planning team.
Resource is already there. It has to be utilized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there even NRIs, you're saying NRIs. NRIs can be, a lot of people, you're saying tourism. Now, why don't you use called, educational tourism, where you come and teach? Because you can come and do a master class on tourism. And we should, ICSI can facilitate. Already you're doing that by calling us on a Sunday morning. But I'm saying call us and let us do a week and we will work. I'm sure Angel, at some point, she can come and talk about, hey, when you go abroad, how do you study abroad? She has her own experience. That is what perspectives. So the people with rich in experiences, they call it the human library. In fact, I've heard this only from you. So we have to create that human library.
It's already going on.
The books,
is there Scandinavian countries we talked together
exactly
when we shared the platform, Denmark. Yeah.
So ideas are there, and I think it is a matter of passion, sir. And I had one more point to add, but kind of lost in the flow of thought. But I think the main thing when you said cost, this is how you bring down the cost. Yes. When you talked about skilling, the other thing I said, and this is a big debate. Should everybody go and get a college degree? And again, if I say that you should not, then people will think I'm elitist. But the question is, there are a lot of jobs that are available at the trade level where people are not finding skilled manpower. Like, there's a shortage of plumbers in the US. Plumbers are making close to sometimes even what an open heart surgeon is making. You can argue both are doing plumbing.
He's also carrying out a surgery in his own way.
Plumbing is, I'm making this up, not that level. I mean, getting what I meant to say is plumb. So there is a demand for trade people. And remember, people are talking of smart homes, smart cars, that smart, this smart. Any smart home means you need 10 people to service it.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think in education, what we incorporate is that only what we require from morning after getting up till we go to sleep. Why do we teach other things which doesn't hold the relevance in our life? I've not studied. I've not used certain things which I studied. And till date, I have not used them. And what was the purpose? I don't know. Just to sharpen my brain? Why it was needed at that point of time?
Actually, what happens is you also have to give a lot of... Education sector is also a way of employment. So I agree, up till 12th grade, you need to get a lot of broaden your knowledge. But when you go into
beyond that,
and you probably, because you're paying for it, because up till it is the responsibility of the state, the government to provide education.
One of the model
paying for it, I want to know what I get.
One of the model professors which was studied, I'll just share and then we go to Vikas Malhotra. Very interesting model has come, which you shared, why everybody should go for higher studies and all that. One of the study which I laid my hands on, I'll share with you. When you give skill to somebody only after 12th, then there is a limitation in the critical thinking process and analytical thinking process to get a sizable or a particular kind of an honorarium or a revenue. But when the person has done graduation or masters, your scope of getting skills and utilizing the skills and getting multiplier effect out of the skills, it goes manifold, which gives economic importance to the entire budget of the country. That is something which was very interesting model. I'll share with you on that. Wonderful input from your side. Let me come to tourism side now. Vikas ji, what comes to my mind now I wish to share. The time has gone by. Thomas Cook, when it started, it was altogether different. Okay, travel part. Why do we call travel agent? Why don't we call travel facilitator? Why do we call tour operator? Why not we should call it tour consultant? Why do we call tourist guide? It should be something altogether amazing because that person is giving you, I think we got to change the vocabulary, because the moment that agent name comes to your mind, you start thinking what this agent is taking from me. Insurance agent, such and such agent. I think that also got to be changed with the time. Secondly, do let me know, most of the people, those have come into travel trade initially, either their parents were running into the business or they had their ancestral kind of a thing and they just got into and all that. How do we seep in at the fastest mode the technology into travel and tourism in India? Because all the apps to be used, the edtech platforms to be used, and whatever has to be used in the digital arena, how do we bring it at the fast pace, like the technology has come in education during pandemic? Because one of the studies shows whatever was to be implemented in the next 10 years in technology in India in education, it was implemented in 2 years because we changed the pace. So how would you like to suggest me on that? How do we go by?
So each one teach one.
Okay.
Each one share one. I believe very strongly that whatever we know, whatever we are aware of, it is always good to share with others, not just to keep it to ourselves. That's really, and as we said, human library, it's a human chain. If I say to you that there is a store which sells shoes and amazing quality, you don't need a board, you don't need a hoarding, you don't need a sign. The word of mouth is more than enough for you to be convinced. I would like to go to so-and-so place. And same thing is to impart the sharing of your knowledge and the expertise. We had the global platform, globally, we had a situation of pandemic 2 years ago. As you said, what was anticipated in 10 years was crunched to 2 years because it was the need of the hour. We don't need to wait for a right time. There's no right time. Today is the right time to just leap into the action. I want to touch down to a previous conversation, which actually fits very well. I would like to ask Angel, why did she not choose to do digital studies sitting in India? Why did she move here? Her answer would be, because I wanted to move out. What you can see, what you can learn in a physical form from a human being, the digital is only the platforms to help. 9.9 out of 10 students you will ask, would you like to study from home or would you like to go abroad and study if you have a chance? They will say, I would like to go abroad and have a chance, whether it's India, whether it's UK or wherever it is. Now, coming to the digital thing, which you just asked me, digital platform, digital evolution is what I would like to call, is only a platform, is only a ladder for human beings to step on and to get the success rate. Now, whether it's Angel or it's any other student who's aspiring to come abroad, would have done some digital research. Where am I going? What is the climate going to be? How I'm going to be interacting? What is my schedule of my classes? How is the deadline of the assignment? Before she stepped into the airport from India, she would have done a big series of research. How did that happen? Digital. She did not receive any letters from in the mail or a thesis of the book, or she had to go to a bookstore and buy a thick books from the landmark and reading pages. No, she is into the digital world. And that is an enhancement. That's a platform. वो एक success का सीढ़ी है. But success जो है, वो हम human beings ने करना ही है. I would like to take a little bit of focus onto the youth, which fits very well. जो youth का mind है, जैसे आपने grade 12 की बात की, the one which is speaking, the youth mind is the most
Fertile.
fertile, most volatile,
Uh,
most energetic. It's one of the best minds of the world.
Creative, curious.
Creative. Yes. Hota kya hai ki when you are youth and you are in that era of your life, you've got your mind to think creativity. What can I do beyond? I've got 8 out of 10 in the efficiency levels. How can I go to 9? Then comes a greed of 9.5. Look at Elon Musk. How can I make it 12 out of 10? How can I make this world a better place to live in? So if we listen to this, one of the statements I really, really believe strongly, and I don't know if you follow, again, I'm going to bring Elon Musk as well because it fits into the digital world. He said, the world cannot be full of problems. That is not the way to live your life. The world has to be something which is a better enhancement. So I think we all are Elon Musks within ourselves. We all are those creative human beings who can think beyond a certain point. So digital world, again, is not going to supersede the human brain. It's only the fertility of the human brain which needs to grow those crops and bring this world a better place. Again, I'm so biased towards my own industry, and I'm sorry about that. With the help of tourism and travel industry, we can join hands. If we heard Angel in the starting of her talk, she said one of the reasons that she wanted to come here, she wanted to live in a world, she wanted to live in a place where people come from all over the world. Why would a student think that? Because the student want to explore the world. The student want to go beyond. This is not my line. I want to cross that line. So I think to spread the word of the digital, each one teach one, each one share one. That is very, very important.
Thank you.
We human beings are going to inspire others. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely, wonderful, wonderful. Education, skills, competencies, capabilities, tourism, domestic tourism, each one, teach one, human chain. Great. That's good. Let's come to now, before we close today's session, let's hear the youngster, let's hear the youth, and let's hear today and tomorrow, the people, those are going to shape this world. Of course, Vikas will always say, tourism is the passport to the peace. Yes, that is there. Okay, Angel, unmute your mic and let's have your views. Let's hear you as a youngster. What would you like to say in your views? You heard both the dignitaries. Yes.
I think all of them were really great points. I completely agree with whatever Sir said. I think that it's so easy to gain knowledge and to, break that line, just step out of it by the digitization of literally everything you need to know. I started doing my research on how to get into universities just 3 months before application deadlines. I know of people who take 2 years or 3 years or like a lot of help from outside, but I was able to do that within less than 3 months. Why? Because I made sure that I utilized all the resources that were out there on the internet. I scanned through all the university websites. I was initially enticed to study abroad because I used to listen to a lot of lectures from university professors from all over the world. I just wanted to learn everything that they had to offer. Education system here is very different. I think, as I said before, it's very practice-based. But at the same time, I think we also deeply care about technology and how we use it efficiently. Everything, all my assignments are all online. We use a lot of online databases, online libraries to conduct our research, even like to carry out a minimal task. We would make sure that we use technology as well as possible. Apart from this, I think that there's a mindset in India that education abroad is very expensive, which is true. But something I wasn't aware of before was how many scholarship opportunities there are out there. Because I came across this scholarship, the Lester B. Pearson International Scholarship, just one day while I was scrolling through the university website. I was like, oh, this looks really interesting. I should apply for it. I went ahead with it, and now I'm here on a fully funded scholarship. My
Wow.
meals, my residence, my books, my tuition, everything is covered. I get a stipend. And a lot of hard work went into this, but it was only made possible because of all the information that I got from using the technology that I had. I did not have to expend too many resources. There was no limit to what I could dream or achieve. And I think I'm here, which means that anyone can be here. So,
Great.
yeah.
Pleasure. Such a pleasure to listen to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about India's budget. We are talking about service industry. We are talking about education, skills, tourism, and youth, ultimately for whom all this is. One very important point today before we close, I would like to make a humble appeal to our non-resident Indians, wherever you are. When you travel to India, even if you are not traveling right now to India, send some people to visit India. You should take a pledge. If the Honorable Prime Minister of India has made an appeal that every NRI, non-resident Indian, should send at least 5 tourists to India, your neighbors, your friends, your others, whomsoever you come across, tell them, visit India once, see it for yourself. Send them near your residence, your town, your other places. I'm pretty sure they can enjoy a lot. That's number one. Number two, I personally feel, having heard Angel, parents play a very important role, because parents got to encourage, parents got to encourage their children. And that is something very, very important, because if parents encourage their children that, come on, let's try it out. Why not? You should take a pledge. You should try it. I think encouragement is a very powerful tool. I won't use a term weapon. It's a tool which is to be utilized in the right direction. And parents, brothers and sisters, everybody plays very important role. Let's encourage each other. Take a pledge. You will send people to India. Let them visit India. Let them come to India. And with these words, I think the tourism will also get promoted. Our education will also, because Professor Vivek Shankar told, why not education tourism? Yes, that is also very important, which we got to think about it. And we got to increase intake of children. That means students coming to India and taking higher education over here. Nobody can give better spiritual part of the journey of the life. Who am I? Why I'm here? What am I doing? What can I do? What I could have done, or what I should be doing. All that, if I have to answer, I think India is the place. Visit India this year. I extend a very warm invitation. Please visit your families. Please visit your parents. Please visit your brothers and sisters. And with you, bring 5 people. Thank you. And with that, closing remarks from Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji.
I think Dr. Sharma, I think this is a good juncture. What is budget? At the end of the day, budget is nothing more than an opportunity to rephrase your goals. And you really don't want to put your money where your mouth is. So I think from all that, from all the indications we are getting, the sense is of one of cautious optimism, because that is buoyed by self-belief that we can do it, that we can be self-reliant, Atmanirbhar, and that we will make the progress, and we will definitely go into the Amrit Kal, which is the 100th year of independence. So with that, the intent is right, as they said, but now the question is to put the rubber has to meet the road. And I think we should hope that all those things that have been envisaged in the budget, it will start happening. The Vachikam karma is very good. The Kaikam karma has to happen. Muh se to acha shabd nikal gaya. Sankalp is good. But now the hands have to come and work together and make the things happen. And with that optimism, I think we should hope for sunny days ahead. Anyway, it's also getting sunnier here I don't know what the Vikasji's situation is. They're still in cold wave, I think. But we are getting to see some sun. I mean, or Canada or Toronto too, right? I mean,
He can unmute his mic and he can tell us the temperature today.
We are at
Yeah.
-5 degrees right now, and it feels like -10. Angel would feel the same too. We are both on the east side. So
so they are still can have some chai and pakodis, but we are getting to the weather. We are not. I'm not quite as ready to consume lassi as yet, but yeah, definitely. I can see I'm down from 4 layers to 2 layers. Right, that's what it is, and so I think by the time Holi comes, we should be ready to start splashing water on everybody. So that is the thing. With that, Gulshanji, thank you so much. Next, we'll look forward to start coming back more regularly on this platform. As we said, we need to build a world-class institution on service excellence in India. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And the last closing prayer from your side. And ladies and gentlemen, my deep gratitude and thanks to all of you for having joined and spared your valuable time. Thank you, Vikasji. Thank you, Professor Vivek Shankar, and lots of blessings to Angel. She should do extremely well. It's a women empowerment also. It's a youth empowerment also. It's today also, and it's tomorrow also. All of them, we have to work together. Closing prayer from Professor Vivek Shankar, because I want Indian Sanskriti should prevail when I start the program and when I close the program.
Om sarve bhavantu skinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti, shanti, shanti. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's a green morning and it's a green afternoon. It's a green evening. God bless all of us, and let's make it a better world and a better place for all of us to live peacefully with lots